Jacksonville Beach, WJXL-FM, Jacksonville Beach.
Drivers and heavy truck mechanics, if you like sports, then you're going to love working at Waste Management.
We have a team atmosphere here where we're looking out for one another. We jump in to help out.
Listen up. WM is now offering a $5,000 new hire bonus to CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics for jobs at our sites in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine.
It's camaraderie. It's everything. I like it.
Steady work, competitive pay, weekly paychecks, opportunities for overtime, paid training, and a generous boot and tool allowance.
Plus, over-the-top benefits like 100% tuition coverage for you and your family, and home every day.
CDL drivers and heavy truck mechanics. Apply online at WM.com/careers. That's WM.com/careers. Search driver and mechanic jobs in Jacksonville, Green Cove Springs, Callahan, and St. Augustine, Florida.
A people first, military friendly, equal opportunity employer. We are WM.
Open early and open late. Dailies is always there, making things easy for you to cruise in and cruise out. So hit Dailies cold case the next time you're craving a cold one. Bud Light by the case, plus plenty of singles to choose from. Corona, to the King of Beers, to Stella or a Natty. They're all cold at Dailies.
Are you tired of having a plain and boring backyard? Really want to impress your family and friends this year? Then stop by Stone Core on Phillips Highway. Imagine hosting guests at your new outdoor kitchen, relaxing by your custom-built fireplace under a brand new pergola. Stone Core can also remodel your old pool deck and beautiful new pavers. Make your backyard wishes a reality. Visit Stone Core on Phillips Highway and let's get started at stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes, and I said yes to Yas, Dr. Mitchell Yas, and the Yas method. Now I know, you've probably tried medications, treatments, injections, even surgery. Maybe the reason you're still in pain is because they're treating the wrong thing and not addressing the root causes. Well, I know from personal experience, this does happen. But I found the best-kept secret in pain elimination, Dr. Yas and the Yas method. Call him today, 904-906-YASS, and say yes to Yas.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. What's better than beer? Cold beer. Put your company logo on a custom koozie. Check them out at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. After one in Gainesville at the Gainesville Regional, the Gators lead Florida A&M 2-0 after a Josh Rivera two-run home run. And the Gators continue to lead as they go into the second inning. Jack Caglione on the mound for Florida. UNF shortstop Alex Lodis announced he is transferring to Florida State last night on social media. The Bartram Trail High School alum set the UNF freshman record with 16 home runs in 2023. OTA number 7 for the Jaguars is coming up on Monday morning. Doug Peterson, defensive coordinator Mike Caldwell, and quarterback Trevor Lawrence will meet the media after practice on Monday. 81 degrees at 6:02. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller. Into the Night with Rick Ballou comes up right now.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
To be young again, my goodness. First Friday in June, to be getting all fired up right now if you were young, just knowing that it's going to be an evening filled with running and ripping and giving it your best. Hey, youngsters, sometimes your best isn't needed. Then again, what do I know? What am I talking about? All of the exchanges nowadays takes place via the phone, right? Do kids still walk up to the opposite sex or the same sex? You still walk up and approach? Hey, what's going on? What's your major? What do you do for a living? How many times has your mom been married? I don't know what the opening line is on, but I think for the most part, right, you just go to the websites, you just swing left or swing right or sweep left, sweep right, and look at one another and get everything set that particular way. But there was a time, folks, where you put on your best cologne, you showered up, you combed your hairs, and you got after it. And I'm really feeling it tonight. A lot of energy on a Friday night right here in Jacksonville for a lot of goodness in the world. And it's going to be a fun show. Two of my favorite people are going to join us, including 35 minutes away, the return of Jessica Blaylock. What about the Florida Panthers? Yeah, they're down the road a little bit, but even here in Jacksonville, you got to be fired up about what they've done. As an 8 seed, just barely limping into the National Hockey League playoffs, to knock off Boston, to knock off Toronto, to knock off Carolina tonight in Las Vegas, where former Jacksonville Lizard King head coach Bruce Cassidy, fired a year ago in Boston, had the second overall best record by 2 points this past year in the West. They are a favorite. It's a small favorite, 130 to the dollar, nothing like what we saw a night ago. Denver getting it done in game one against yet another team, that being the Heat from Miami. But, of course, game one of the Stanley Cup Finals coming up tomorrow. Going to be a good weekend. They're rotating each and every night for the most part, outside of the fact that we aren't going to get anything tonight in either one of the two, but the NBA will conveniently wait until Game 2 to be played on Sunday. So you get Saturday hockey, you get Sunday, the National Basketball Association.
We have Ohtani tonight. That's all that matters.
We do have Ohtani tonight. He had two big blasts. I mean, I'm talking 450, 460, 470-foot mammoth home runs. Yeah, I was looking at some baseball numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I really am. And I was studying Freddie Freeman because, I think the numbers have changed as far as the entry into the Hall of Fame. And Freddie Freeman is a guy that I think you can make the case is actually getting better as he gets older. And that doesn't happen often in Major League Baseball. But he actually had an opportunity to do something that I was hoping for, and I've been hoping for really for the last couple of years. That is to have 2,000 hits, 300 home runs, and a 300 career average, all at the same time. I mean, just to take that still photo, right, and see 2,000 career hits, 300 career home runs, and a 300 career average. He came in this year, I believe, hitting 298 was his average. He's got that up to 300. I was getting ready to pull up the numbers here, and I got them, but I'll admit it. I hit sorry, Atlanta fans. I hit Brave stats first until I did remember that Freddie Freeman is now in his second year with the Los Angeles Dodgers. But if you just look at his numbers, 1,982 career hits, 302 career homers, and again, he is hitting a career 300. So, when some of the greats left, and Cabrera's been down this year, but Pujols is gone, and you had Molina who left, and, you had Beltre a couple of years ago who left. I was really following Cano. I thought he was a guy that would approach and get 3,000 hits until he got popped for a second time with PEDs. There's just not a lot of players that are entering those historic numbers that baseball has always been a part. 3,000 career hits, 500 career home runs, 300 career wins. I don't think we'll ever see it again. Verlander's your best shot at 246, but what's that going to give you? If he averages 16, 17 a year, including this year, well, that'll put him around, 360? He's going to need at least 3 more years of that, and he's around the age of 40. Anyway, I'll move on because I understand it's baseball. Blue, what's wrong with you? You've gone hockey, basketball, and baseball. Don't you know where you're at? You're in Duval, brother. You're the home of the Jacksonville Jaguars. What's wrong with you? Get yourself straightened out, and damn it, get to football. All right, we will. Dave Campo in 15. enjoy watching Jaguars practice with Dave Campo. It's a blast. Yeah, I love it. And again, Jessica Blaylock coming up in a little bit. The Josh Allen tweet. This has hit me like a ton of bricks, and I don't want to overdo it. I don't. I don't want to, believe it or not, overstep the boundaries here. But this, to me, is where social media. Now, we just talked about the advantages of social media for you young guys out there or young girls out there when you're trying to hook up. You can look good, have no game, and meet someone, as opposed to the old days where looking good is only part of the process, but you better be able to back that up with your talkability, right? You better be able to back that up. And I'll tell you, folks, you see it everywhere you go. You see really old, ugly men with hot chicks. You know why that is? Well, A, they either got a ton of money, or B, they make women laugh. That is the best advice I can ever give any young dude out there. Find a way to make the lady laugh. And I'm not talking about sending a picture of yourself nude and making her laugh that way, okay? I'm talking about just flat out finding a way to entertain her. But anyway, Josh has not tweeted since he actually gave us a retweet back on April 6, 2023, when his former teammate Corey Peters officially announced his retirement after 13 years. I've been very outspoken about Josh Allen. I was a year ago. I am again today. I believe he should be there, okay? I'm an every snap count guy. And, yeah, I mentioned David Lamb a little bit yesterday. We were talking about great coaches and managers in the history of any sport. Dave and I had a different opinion on baseball. David Lamb and I also had a very different opinion. I remember him and I going back and forth on Maurice Jones-Drew. Okay? My opinion is get in camp. I want him out there for every single snap. His thing was, no, he can do whatever he wants in May and in June. Make sure he's ready by September. Anyway, we won't go down that road as far as MJD. But with Josh Allen, I have been under the impression that him not being there is all a contractual scenario. And I've said since day one, if it's something else, if it's a family issue, a medical issue, a personal issue, and we find out about it, I will apologize, okay? But we have not heard that. My belief is he's been advised by his agency to hold out. He's going to make just under $11 million this year. I have been absolutely crystal clear. I wouldn't pay him. He hasn't earned it. He's not a top 5 rush end. He's not a top 10 rush end. I'm making him play for this amount of money. I'm seeing what he does this year. And then it becomes one of 3 things. If you believe, because I think they look at him as one of the better leaders on that side of the ball. And let's make no issue about it. He's really loved in the building. He's loved by the media. You're not going to find a better human being. He's kind. He talks to you by your name. He respects everyone. I mean, from the first time that he was introduced with his wife and I believe his at that point. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't remember if it was a son or a daughter, but you could feel it from him. You know, he is infectious, and he's a guy you want around. But this business is about results. In flat out business, professionalism, results. He has not earned that. So it comes down to one of 3 things. Either just let him go, right? You re-sign him at the end of the year after he proves it, or you negotiate, you go back and forth, and a year from now or a year from March, you slap him with the franchise tag, which Jacksonville has now done, 3 years in a row? Or 3 out of the last 4 years? With Cam twice and Evan Ingram, so they're not a stranger to using that particular tag if, in fact, they have to. Today's tweet kind of took me by surprise, and if you haven't heard it, let me read it to you. Josh Allen 6 hours ago said, I'm guided by a stronger power, and that power is guiding me down a path not all may see right now, hashtag God bless. So I'm going to be as honest as I ever. I'm going to check that. I'm going to be as honest as I always am. I'm not going to hide on a Friday. When I read it, the first thing that came to mind was Telvin Smith. That was my first thought. So I went back and I looked at the cryptic tweet by Telvin. And let's reset this story. Telvin was a fifth rounder. He was on a rookie deal. They got it done a year early. He got a 4-year, $45 million contract in 2017. He walked away in May of 2019 from a $9,750,000 contract. Okay? And I'm not even going to go up and down the road about things that I heard, financially speaking, for Telvin Smith, because that's irrelevant. The quote was really intriguing, okay? 5 years in the league. Yeah, there was some trade rumors. And we all witnessed a turn by Telvin, okay? The loss of Paul Posluszny was enormous for Telvin Smith. Come on, Ballou, be politically correct. Do it the right way. Don't get canceled on a Friday. Say it the right way. It was a very noticeable turn for Telvin. Instead of the consummate professional, and don't kid yourself, even though he was a fifth-round pick, you can go back and ask Jimbo Fisher. That entire defense went into the NFL. He'll tell you that Telvin was his best leader, him and LaMarcus Joyner. Telvin oozed that. I remember that rookie minicamp with 49 draftees that were out there. That was the Bortles draft. That was the Brandon. Brandon Linder's the best. He's the best leader this building's ever seen. Brandon Linder. Let's do an interview, Brandon. It's going to last 20 minutes. Or excuse me, it's going to last 2 minutes, and I'm going to ask 20 questions. Great leader, though. But you had them all there. Alan Hearns, Allen Robinson, Marquise Lee. I mean, it was a really good draft. It really was. It was a good draft class for that particular time. With Telvin, you could see it. You could absolutely see it. He was a born leader. But the guidance of Posluszny kept him in line. When he left, Telvin started to get a little bit crazy, if you will. And when that came in, and let me find it for you, and I'm doing this simply to refresh what was said, because it really was a long time ago. But remember, this was the tweet where he talked about getting his world in order. And I thought it was disturbing. Quote, it was said to me from a great coach that in order for a man to be his best, he must get his world in order. At this time, I must take time away from the game and get my world in order. I must give this time back to myself, my family, and my health. I appreciate all the support I will and will not get. I just ask you all respect my decision to not play football this season. Okay, that was May of 2019. He left. The only thing we've ever heard about Telvin Smith after has been really bad. Okay? Some of it buried, but really bad. Including his physical health. I mean, I'm if I saw Telvin Smith right now and he weighed 165 pounds, I wouldn't be surprised. Okay? So, am I overreacting? Yeah, sure, absolutely. But again, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you the truth. When I read the quote today from Josh Allen, that was my initial reaction. So, I'm going to ask you, and you can hide behind the text line. It's only your phone number. It's not your name. Any of you people get that today? Or are you saying, Billy, you took way too many painkillers before this show? If that's the way that you think, with my reaction towards it, I'm fine with it. Now, this story came out 6 hours ago. I have had an opportunity to digest this, and I want to believe this is just another way of him saying, I'm fine, I want to get paid. I'm not in camp because I want to get paid, and everything is going to be okay. He went to the God card, all right? So I'm going to respect that, the God bless card. So it literally could mean anything. And I hope it's nothing more than he wants to get more money. But I'm going to be honest with you. When I saw it, that was my initial reaction. It was, boy, is there something wrong with this young man? And I really hope it's not. He needs to be a better football player. He's not worth the money that he's seeking, but he is a good person, okay? He's a good human being. I have a lot of respect for youngster to veteran. And let me say this as I head to this break because I want to bring in Dave Campo. I'll never forget out having some cocktails with Leon Searcy, Josh Allen's rookie year in Baltimore. They practiced in Baltimore for 3 days, and then they had a preseason game. Searcy and I were at a restaurant. In walks Calais Campbell and Josh Allen. And, we said hello there, but it was just, they had to be sitting, like, right in front of where we were. And it was one of those deals where Calais was doing all the talking, and Josh Allen was doing all the listening as a rookie. And to me, that really resonated with an arguable Hall of Famer and a very respected man in the league. By the way, that whole Telvin deal, that's another example of it. Telvin started to go sideways on leadership and guys like Clay. The Telvin thing's gone. But that's what I mean about the Telvin switch, the very noticeable Telvin switch. But back to Allen here, man, it was great to watch him, to absorb everything, to be a sponge and listen to exactly what was being said by Calais Campbell. I've always admired him. He's a phenomenal guy. Okay? He doesn't deserve more money. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I'd like your thoughts. 641-1010. That is on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Dave Campo is next. Jessica Blaylock in 20 minutes. A Friday edition. It's great to have you with us. This is Into the Night.
My think tank now has a little something in the pipeline. It's an idea we like to call
1010XL.
Nimnick Buick GMC is proud to be the #1 Buick GMC dealer in Jacksonville. Frank Frangie here. They're committed to providing the best selection of Buicks and GMCs for you to choose from with a best price guarantee. Nimnick has been in business for over 81 years because they've been doing business the right way. Stop by Nimnick Buick GMC on Phillips Highway, just south of I-295, or shop online at nimnickbuickgmc.com. That's Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
What? They did not tell me they were going to do that. I need a new bank.
Well, actually, One-to-One Financial doesn't do the usual bank surprises because we're not a bank. We're a credit union, and that means lower loan interest, things like free checking and member rewards, and of course, total investment back into our community.
I'm sold.
Find a better way to bank than big banks with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. Visit 121fcu.org for more information on opening an account today.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it, they do it. Whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
This is Dr. Chris Swanson. When your sports injuries flare up, come where athletes are treated like pros. Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
This is Verlin Dormany, head coach and athletic director of Trinity Christian Academy. We're proud of our relationship with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Take it from us at Trinity Christian. When you need orthopedic care, call on Southeast Orthopedic Specialist.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
All right, Truth Teller here, checking in with words of wisdom to be applied in life in your business from the business attorneys at Jimerson Burr. Let's go to H.G. Wells, who once said in a new quote, "If you fell down yesterday, stand up today." End of quote. Thank you to H.G. G. Wells. All right, big news out of Jimerson Bird. They are hiring. Once again, they're a growing law firm, and that's no surprise because they're consistently recognized here in Duval as being one of the best places to work, and that's been the case over the last decade. They're your one-stop shop as far as business lawyers, whether it is attorney, whether it is paralegal. Just go to jimersonfirm.com, look for the careers page. Top of the market compensation, award-winning culture, okay? Attorneys, business lawyers, paralegal. Go to jimersonfirm.com and go to the careers page.
Every weekend is a Stone Cold Sports Weekend. Hey, Dan Hicken here. Watch for the Weekend with Dan on YouTube and Facebook, and I'll help you put together your sports weekend. Weekend with Dan brought to you by Stone Core. We do the outdoors better.
If you want to get into broadcasting, 1010XL is partnering with the Broadcasters and Sportscasters Mentoring Group to offer on-air broadcast training to a select few. Find out how you can be mentored at getintobroadcasting.com. Getintobroadcasting.com.
The 9 after 5 rolls on at the Golf Club of Southampton, so get on the tee with me, Joe C. The XL Primetime League is in the summer stretch, and you need to be part of it. Southampton invites you to join us every Wednesday for our 9 after 5. Beat the heat and blow off a little steam with friends and family at Southampton. A great game every week, good grub afterwards, and prizes. Call 287-PLAY and get in the game every Wednesday. It's our 9 after 5 at Southampton. Call 287-PLAY.
Duck Duck Air Conditioning, a division of Duck Duck Rooter, is looking for experienced and dependable HVAC services technicians to join our growing team. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is committed to delivering the highest level of service to our customers. Successful candidates will be hardworking, dependable, possess strong problem-solving skills with at least 2 years of HVAC experience. Ready to get to work? Please visit our website at duckduckac.com and click on the careers page. We look forward to hearing from you. That's duckduckac.com.
Duck Duck AC is an equal opportunity employer.
Houston, we do not have a problem.
Houston's Meats is now carrying locally raised cattle from right here in Florida. Ground beef to steaks to even roasts, each cut is graded USDA choice and has been raised locally from birth to harvest. Houston's Meats at Main Street and 295.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound and Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control. Look, warmer weather now means mosquito, flea, and tick season is here. These pests are out for blood, but you don't have to let them win. Protect your home and family with Kingfish Pest Control. As a Kingfish customer myself, I know their products are safe for kids and pets. Plus, with a 100% satisfaction guarantee, you can relax knowing your yard is pest-free. Call today, mention the Jags to receive 10% off your initial service. That's Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Find your why in your next career move at the First Coast YMCA. Everyone can get involved and make a difference in your community at the Y. And if you'd like to turn your passion into a fulfilling career, the Y is an equal opportunity employer and is now hiring youth program leaders, lifeguards, swim instructors, and more. Plus, Y staff enjoy benefits including free YMCA membership and free childcare while you work. Find your passion, find your why in a career at fcymca.org.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, tonight's show brought to you by Patriot Roofing Services. They specialize in all types of commercial and residential roofing and repairs, gutters, sun tubes, skylights, 10-year workmanship warranty. Financing available. Give Mark a call, 982-4052. No subcontractors, licensed and insured, military and senior citizen discounts. Mention you heard it here, $500 off at the time of estimate. That's Patriot Roofing Services, 982-4052. Our friend is Dave Campo. You hear him on 1010 and 92.5 all the time. Of course, a coach for decades, including former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys, and the guy I'm lucky enough to sit next to during Jaguar games in the press box. Dave, always a lot of fun. How are you?
I'm doing great, Rick. How about you?
Man, I'm doing really good, and I just think the vibe. I know we've only been out there a few times, and we'll get another opportunity on Monday to get out there. But the 2 years ago with Urban, then when Doug came in last year and was asked to rebuild this, I just want your feeling on it, because for me, this literally feels night and day from 1 year ago.
Well, there's no question about it. I think it was really a rough one the first year with Urban, because there were a lot of things that people questioned about what was going on in practice and this and that, and hearing some rumors here and there about what's happening. And then last year, there was a lot of let's wait and see type of a situation. I think this year there's a different feeling out there of confidence, and it just looks different from that standpoint. And I really think it is different, because I think we have a better football team right now.
You look at this state, and you can start at Miami, where you coach with the Canes, and you can get to the Gators, Florida State, and here in Jacksonville. It seems like just about every other year, they're going through a coaching change. And the one thing that you always hear is you got to change the culture. It's kind of like one of the automatic bullet points that the new coach is going to go to. I mean, I thought 3-4 years, weed out the problems, bring in the new guys. You got to hit with the picks. You got to hit with the free agents. Is it safe to say that Doug Peterson has changed the culture of the Jaguars in 1 year?
Well, I will say this. This team says the right things, and the way they came back last year, starting out struggling and then finishing strong and winning some games that no one thought they had an opportunity to win. I think that the culture has changed, because normally when a new coach comes in, he's not coming into a winning situation. He's coming in because there's problems.
Right.
And it looks like the problems that they had were taken care of by Doug Peterson. I think they really believe in him. I think the coaching staff that they brought in, I've been really impressed with watching them operate, and I've had an opportunity to visit with some of them, and I really like them personally, and I think that goes a long way. I've talked with a few of them. I'll just mention one, Press Taylor. I think Press Taylor's going to be a head coach very quickly in this league, just because of the way he carries himself and what he did last year, along with Mike McCoy and Hooter.
Mm-hmm.
They have a good group over there, and the players just seem to respond to that. And when you come from behind like they did last year, there's a definite feeling of confidence, which starts in the locker room. I had a conversation with Doug Peterson the other day, and one of the things that I said to him, which he agreed 100%, I said, you really don't have to do as much now, because the locker room will run the team. And he said, absolutely. He said, now I've got to keep it going. I've got to make sure that I don't let this be one and done, and that's my responsibility. But the locker room is the important thing, and I think he's got the locker room in his hands.
Dave Campbell, our guest, joining Rick Ballou right here on the home of the Jaguars. The whole Trevor Lawrence situation a year ago, it's like, I know you love defense. You're a defensive guy, but obviously you watch everything. You watch quarterbacks as well. But every pass that he made last year was being discussed. And you get out to camp now, all of a sudden this thing is like, well, that's a given. Trevor's fine. He's only getting better. What do you make of it? I mean, Jacksonville was 3-7. And I know on my show, people were openly wondering, is this man a bust? Then all of a sudden they go 6-1. He's top 10 in passer rating those last 7 games. He starts doing the things that is expected out of him. What are your thoughts on that whole transition and what you've been able to see in the practices so far here in May?
Well, he's definitely learned. He definitely learned in the 2 years the speed of the game. And I think that's something that those guys don't really get on the college level. That you're facing maybe one or two guys, that are NFL players when even if you're in the SEC. I mean, you're not playing or ACC where he came from. You're not playing the caliber of people that you're playing when you get to the NFL, and the speed of the game gets on you a little bit. And one thing that happens, I think, with quarterbacks, and I saw the same thing with Troy Aikman now, Rick, back in the day. He came in highly touted. He really struggled the first year. The second year, he really came on. A lot of it is based on, once you get the feeling that all you have to really do as a great player is play within yourself, and you don't have to do anything. You don't have to make a superb, great throw every time you make a throw. Sometimes, you think you can do too much. And I think right now he knows what he can do, and that's what, to me, is the difference. He gets rid of the ball so much quicker, just the experience of knowing the scheme a little bit more as the season went on last year. And I think right now he's where he needs to be. Another conversation I had with Press Taylor, he really made the comment. He said, this is no longer about scheme. He's so comfortable. It's really everything goes with what Trevor Lawrence does.
Yeah. As we get ready to wrap things up, I enjoyed during one of our media availabilities watching that young secondary, the new group, the late draft picks, the undrafted free agent Caleb Hayes. Very noticeable length on these guys. So just give us, whether it's any one of them or perhaps anyone else that you have seen so far that has really impressed you.
Well, first of all, it's hard when you're in non-pass. You know that, Rick. You've been around for a long time. Only 1.5% of all college players play pro football. So every guy that's out there, remember back in the day there were 12 rounds. Larry Brown was Super Bowl 30 MVP, and he was taken in the 12th round. Now, there isn't a guy on this ball club that's anywhere near the 12th round. At worst, there may be at the 10th round, and so all of those guys look really good in non-pass.
Mm-hmm.
They're all athletic. This is a good-looking group. I mean, when you look at them lengthwise and acceleration-wise and some of those kind of things, I really like this whole group. It's just, a guy like Monteric Brown, he's in his second year. I expect him to make a great deal of improvement, whether he's a backup player or not. Gregory Jr., Gregory Jr. is in there working at the nickel position. Those guys, I'm expecting them to improve from the first year to the second year. And then you look at a guy like Johnson, the kid that we took, when we take him in the 5th round, the safety. He's got really good athletic talent. So I like this group. I think there's a lot more competition than there was 2 years ago. And, I think that's going to be key to the whole thing.
Yeah. All right, I lied because I have one more. And, listen, I'm really partial. I'm a big fan of Cedric Scott. I know him very well personally. He's a former neighbor of mine. And of course, now he's ahead. He's the director of strength and conditioning. And there was a time here when there was just a ton of soft tissue injuries. I mean, an overabundance of them. That's not the case. We've also seen noticeable weight gain. Trevor Lawrence, obviously Andre Sisco. So, maybe it's a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How much does that really matter to have the right strength and conditioning coordinator in? Because my eye says this is a definite upgrade.
Well, I'm knocking on wood because I'm hitting my head right now, because last year was a really, really good year. And I think you probably, when I've been on other shows on 1010, I've made mention many times how what I thought of this strength staff. I mean, they obviously are doing a good job. And it's a very difficult thing now because the length of the OTAs and the length of training camp and all those are so much shorter that, guys are going fast quicker, and that you get those kind of injuries, but we haven't had that. So I have to, give those guys a tremendous amount of credit. They're definitely doing something right, and obviously I'm hoping that continues. But you can see that the number of receivers we have, I know we have at least 13 wide receivers, and we've got 18 DBs. And those are the positions where you get the soft tissue injuries, and you have to have a number of those, and they have that here. But I'm a fan of this group, the strength and conditioning and the trainers, to be perfectly honest with you.
Dave, thank you. Have an outstanding weekend. I'll see you out there on Monday.
Hey, great talking with you, Rick, and I'll do it anytime. Thanks.
There he goes, Dave Campo, former head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. You hear him all the time right here on 1010 on the AM, 92.5 on the FM. Your comments, respond now. Text line 641-1010, brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. Oh, my goodness. Look who's up next. The return of Jessica Blaylock. She goes into the night.
Get your motor running.
Let's go racing!
Sunday at Worldwide Technology Raceway.
Brought to you by Famous Automotive Tire and Quick Lube, servicing every customer like they're famous. On your NASCAR station, 1010XL.
Here's Linda Beaver.
We know that you have options when it comes to buying or servicing your vehicle. We also know that not all experiences are created equal. We promise when you choose to do business with Beaver, you will always get thoughtfulness about your time and hard-earned money, a team member motivated by desire to help you, and in lifelong relationships with a team that cares. Pair all that with a huge selection of inventory. You can't go wrong with Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville. We promise we're here to wow you.
The Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute is now offering online scheduling for new patient appointments for all of their positions. Simply schedule your appointment on your cell phone, tablet, or desktop. JOI is the first orthopedic practice in North Florida to offer this feature to patients. To schedule your appointment online, visit joi.net and click on the button at the top of the page. If you'll be using insurance, be sure and have your information handy. JOI, where the pros go.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Hi, this is Dave Barker. Want to grow your hair back?
IHRS, right here in Jacksonville, is the only hair transplant clinic in the Southeast to offer multi-unit hair grafting and the 45-minute PRP treatments. Grow your hair back. Call now for a free in-person evaluation. 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On June 2nd, 1935, future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth announces his retirement as a player at the age of 40 after 22 seasons.
Looking for a mouth-watering lunch that won't leave you feeling heavy? ABBQ's lunch menu features our famous prime brisket dip served on French pastry signature bread. But we also offer lighter fare, including 4 salads to choose from, our house-made chicken salad, our smoked turkey sandwich, and here's the best part. You can add any of our smokehouse meats to our signature salads, so come on down to ABBQ for lunch today and enjoy a meal that's both delicious and guilt-free.
Yum.
ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
E.T. here, and y'all know how much I like my brown water, but I ain't gonna lie, it gives me headaches sometimes. So my alternative is Brackish Vodka. This gluten-free alternative to Tito's is 100% local, and all monies stays right here in Duval. Not only does Brackish Vodka make you feel good, but when you support Brackish Vodka, you're also helping local charities. Try it side by side with your favorite vodka, and you will taste and smell how natural Brackish Vodka really is. And when you do, remember who sent you. Come on, somebody.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
I'm Dr. Mitchell Yass, the most unknown world-renowned expert on pain elimination. That's right, elimination. If you've tried medications, injections, physical therapy, chiropractic, even surgery, and still experience pain, then say yes to Yass. I have successfully used the Yass method for over 30 years to help thousands reclaim their lives. To learn more, call me at 904-906-YASS. Let's end your pain and say yes to Yass.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Miami. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Yeah, Jessica Blaylock's going to love this, but if I had known better, I would have told you, JJ, to drop some Led freaking Zeppelin on Miss Blaylock. And I saw her tweet last night, or Facebook, whatever. She said that she was out having some fun, all dressed up, but she was putting Zepp in the old jukebox. There we go. There we go. She just wrapped up the pregame show in Miami on Bally's, and of course you see her as well getting ready to do everything that is hockey related for the Florida Panthers. What a run it has been in South Florida. And let's bring back one of the greats. Jessica Blaylock goes into the night with Rick Ballou. What do you say, young lady?
I say two things. Number one, I say that I always think of you when I listen to When the Levee Breaks. And I say number two, thank you so much for introducing me to the greatest sport in the world, that is hockey.
Ballou's Bar did it for Jessica Blaylock.
Absolutely. And here we are all these years later, and I have covered hockey for 8 seasons, which absolutely blows my mind.
I'm trying to think the last time I saw you. Was it when we went to the U2 show in
It
Miami?
had to have been the U2 concert.
Yeah, it's been way too long.
Way too long.
Might have been back.
Way too long.
But, the thing I've always admired about you as a professional, Jessica, is you're a student of the game. And, I noticed that. I had some fun earlier in the week about there are frauds in the business that aren't always watching or involved. They're there because it's kind of, you check the box that you covered it. But I remember with the Jags talking to you about the Jaguars being in 3 wide receiver sets or going in the dime coverage. And you would ask questions. And your questions about hockey, because I remember I was yelling at the Bruins about skate. And you're like, what are you doing? What does that mean? I mean, every little thing about hockey you asked about, you picked up on, and look at you now, man. You roll 8 years? That's phenomenal.
It's crazy, too, just how much I have learned, how much I still have to learn. I think that's the best part about this job is that you never really cease to stop learning, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's always something new. There's always something different. Baseball is a great example, too. There's always something that you're going to see that maybe hasn't ever happened or hasn't happened in years. And you should always be learning, especially if you're passionate about something. And I think that's been kind of the most fun thing about getting to cover hockey is, one, just how much I've fallen in love with it, but two, just how much I've had a chance to just really learn the game, not only from my time in the Ballou Sports Bar when you and I would watch the Bruins, but just over these last 8 years. And just how much fun that aspect of the job is, that you're just constantly learning and soaking up all of the things that make sports so wonderful.
Florida Panthers, what a story. I think the only thing I can think of around here that would be comparable to that was the 96 Jaguars. When they were done, then they won 7 in a row. They went into the playoffs. They won in Buffalo. They won in Denver. They ended up losing in New England. I mean, Florida just barely gets there. Then they knock off the historic season of the Boston Bruins, and they win there in game 2, 5, and 7. That doesn't happen. Then you knock off Toronto, who, finally moved to a second round for the first time since 93. You take on a great coach and a great team in Carolina. This truly is an incredible story to witness what's happened here in South Florida.
It's been so magical. And, the one thing I think that really stands out to me about why they've been able to go on the run that they've been able to go on, you think about last year's team, and there were so many expectations, right? Because they won the President's Trophy. They set so many franchise records with what they had done offensively and all the wins at home. But Ballou, they had locked up a playoff spot by the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
So down the final stretch of the season, they weren't really challenged much. Whereas this team, they had to literally, no pun intended, scratch and claw their way into the playoffs, as an 8th seed. And they spent the last probably 3 to 4 months of the season having to play essentially playoff games with their backs against the wall every single night. So by the time the playoffs actually started, they knew, to use a cliche term, I guess, they knew what it felt like to be battle tested. They knew what it felt like to have pressure on every single game. And so I think that's the biggest thing that's made the difference for them is the playoffs didn't start for them game 1 against the Boston Bruins. Their playoffs essentially started back in January, and they've been fighting for their lives ever since. And they've just learned how to play with tremendous pressure on their shoulders. And I think kind of being the underdog as well, all the pressure really was on Boston in that first round. All the pressure really was on the Leafs in that second round. The Hurricanes were supposed to be the better team. The pressure's on them in that third round. So I think that it's been this combination of not only the Panthers knowing how to balance any quote-unquote pressure that they felt, but also just having fun. It's something Paul Maurice talks about all the time is that at some point you have to realize, this is supposed to be fun too. And they have just had the time of their lives every single night, and it's been awesome to watch.
Paul Maurice is a man. I think he's in top 7 now, I believe, all time as far as wins. So there's a man, and his leadership is just amazing. We talked with Jessica Blaylock. Once again, Florida's going to be an underdog beginning tomorrow night, game 1 in Las Vegas, although those odds have changed a little bit compared to the 3 earlier series. Real quick, trading Jonathan Huberdeau the way they did, and others, I mean, some really great players, and getting Matt Tkachuk, who, to me, he's like Marchand. He's a better Marchand. He's a guy that opponents can't stand, opponent fans can't stand, because I think there's some dirty in him, but he is such a clutch player. 21 postseason points, the game winners late in the third or in overtime. What has he brought to this team?
It's so funny because every time I try to describe Matthew Tkachuk to people, I don't feel like I can ever do him justice. I always feel like whatever I say about him falls short of who he actually is and what he's actually done. But I'll do my best. And I think you have to start, when you begin talking about Tkachuk, you have to start with his drive to win and his compete level. This guy is just built different when it comes to wanting to win and wanting the pressure on him in the big moments. Some guys shy away from that. They don't want to have the puck on their stick when you need a game-winning goal. Tkachuk is complete opposite. He wants those moments. He wants to be the guy. He wants to carry the team. He wants to score that power play goal with 4 seconds left against Carolina in Game 4 to win the series. He wants that. And it's not for personal glory, and it's not for personal stats. It's because he just wants the team to win, and he wants to do whatever he can for the team to win. And it's this just wonderful, perfect combination of, yes, he's got the swag, and yes, he's got the grit, and he's got the sandpaper, and he's got the, gets under the opponent's skin, and the physicality. But ultimately, it's all backed up by the way he plays, the way that he contributes, but ultimately the way that he competes. This guy has just changed so much about this team, and he drags everybody else into the fight with him.
Yeah.
And that's what's so special about him. I mean, I could go on and on about the impact of Kachuk and what he's done.
Please do, because I'm going to head over to Glenn's. I'll head over to Glenn's Liquors for one. Just keep going. This is great.
But he is, Ballou, he is a game changer in every definition of the word.
He's a talented Alf Samuelson. He's a talented Claude Lemieux. He's one of the best players. I think when the MVP voting is officially done, it's going to go, obviously Connor's going to win it.
Right,
I wouldn't be surprised if Pasternak is 2, and then I think Kachuk will be 3rd. He has been so good in that power play line and just that overall line with, with Sam Bennett and what have you. Hey, we're short on time. So, again, Paul Maurice, Alex Lyon is playing against Boston. Okay, you got a $10 million goaltender on the end of the bench, and then they put Big Bob back in, and, I mean, this man allowed 6 goals in 4 games?
Yeah.
in the third round against Carolina. I mean, Florida to sweep the way they did by scoring 10 goals is almost unheard of. But, I mean, what Big Bob has done, and just again, you talk about coaching, Paul Maurice making the right moves.
Well, and I think you saw Alex Lyon start that series against Boston because Paul Maurice respected the hell out of what Lyon did down those final 8 games. Had it not been for Lyon and the team going 6-1-1 in his starts, and Lyon making some incredible saves, by the way, in a lot of those games, the Panthers wouldn't have been in a situation where they were in the playoffs. So I think out of pure respect for Alex Lyon and the way that he stepped up for this team, it's why you saw Lyon get the nod for the series start against Boston. But at some point, your $10 million goalie has to be your $10 million goalie, and you can't leave him on the bench, right? And I think Bobrovsky has been not just like on an elite level as far as goalies in the playoffs. He's been on his own level with what he's done. It's been insane. But I think he also challenged himself personally. I think it almost is personal to him that when he got back in the net for Florida, he was going to be the guy to lead the way. And he's done just that. So I think it's not just, and Sergei Bobrovsky is the hardest worker, one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. He's an awesome teammate, first guy to skate out to Lyon after a win. He supports everybody, doesn't matter if he's in the net or not. But I think when he came back, it was personal for him. And he has completely earned every single dollar that his contract is for with what he has done in the playoffs.
Jessica Blaylock, formerly right here of 1010 XL. Yes, no doubt about that. Hey, you're busy. You got the Marlins, you got the Panthers. Any time off at all? Are you just on the road for 12 days?
Yeah, we just had a 3-city road trip to San Francisco, Denver, and Anaheim. 10 games in 10 days. I did have this last series against the Padres off, so I did get to recover for the last couple days. Tonight I kick off 15 straight games for baseball. Tomorrow I'll be doing double duty. I'm covering the Marlins game, and then immediately after that, heading to FLA Live Arena to cover the watch party for Game 1. Between the Panthers and the Vegas Golden Knights.
How many going to show up for that watch party? Honestly, what are you expecting?
Oh, honestly, I think it's going to be a packed house. You should see the way that fans have rallied around this team. The atmosphere, I mean, I'm sure you probably saw it on TV watching those games between especially the Canes and the Cats. I would expect FLA Live holds a little under 20,000. I would not be surprised to see that place almost to capacity. Yeah. I think it's going to be awesome.
Unbelievable. All right. Look forward to it. I'll admit it. I'm never a second favorite type of guy, but I find myself pulling here for Florida. What they've been able to do is absolutely fantastic. Jessica, always a lot of fun. Thank you. Look forward to catching up with you soon.
Sounds good, Ballou. Thanks so much for having me on.
There she goes, Jessica freaking Blaylock, as I used to refer to her as. Love her. Truly one of the greats. Such a fan. You look at the last 4 games. Again, I mean, Big Bob allowed 6 goals in 5 games. Or excuse me, 4 games. And Florida scored 10 goals in a 4-game sweep. Think about that for a moment. It's absolutely just amazing. Let me say this. She's no longer on the air because, I love her so much personally, but I absolutely just loved working with her. I don't care what it is that you do. I don't care what field you're going into. She is the greatest example of working on your craft and becoming so good at what it is that you do by asking others questions. She brought it up, so I'll say it. She used to come into my bar all the time. My girlfriend and I, Blaylock, others would come here and there. She did not know anything about hockey. She asked question after question after question after question after, and look at her now. She's in her 8th year. Now she knows more about hockey than I do, for crying out loud. And she did it with the Jaguars. So I don't care what field you go into, man. I mean, you can check boxes if you want, right? Or you can actually try to get better and ask questions about, and I'm not just talking about being in the media and covering sports. I'm talking about any type of professional career that you want to go towards. Ask people who have been there. So when are you going to get better? The greatest example I'll give you is that right there. The one, the only, Jessica freaking Blaylock.
Add a little fun to your morning ride.
It's like we got another show to do.
Dan Hicken.
Great.
Jeff Prosser.
Let's get it over with.
The Drill.
We have a few items we want to straighten out first.
Mornings
I don't think you understand who you're talking to here.
on 1010XL.
Wrestling fans, the River City Wrestling Con will slam into the Jax Fairgrounds June 10th and 11th. This 2-day event will feature appearances by pro wrestling superstars, exciting wrestling matches, and an assortment of vendors and artists. Guests include Kurt Angle, Saraya, Jake the Snake Roberts, Rob Van Dam, and many more. Get tickets at RiverCityWrestlingCon.com or follow on social media for event updates. June 10th and 11th, the River City Wrestling Con at the Fairgrounds.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
If your lawn is not as green as you'd like, it's time to go orange by calling Orange Environmental Services, Jacksonville's highest quality pest control for over 45 years. Frank Frangie here. I've trusted Orange Environmental to take care of our home's pest control needs for years. With the Orange Shield Protection Plan for your home or office, you can relax knowing Orange Environmental will handle pest control, termite control, and mosquito control. Orange Environmental has been giving Northeast Florida peace of mind from bug problems since 1972. Call them today at 272-3284.
SportsForecaster.com has all the data you need to project tomorrow's winners. Register for free and track the performance of all your favorite players and teams, including all your fantasy team picks and prospects. Sports Forecaster has the most detailed player profiles on the web, precise depth charts, every transaction, every injury, every news update. No ranting or raving, no preening or Barstool Bluster. At sportsforecaster.com, you get the timely info you need for every game. Sportsforecaster.com. Sign up for free today.
ITB Partners, the official financial firm for the station to beat inflation.
Whoa, Dan. People don't want to joke about their money, not during these tough times.
You mean they'd rather hear about how ITP Partners takes our money and makes us more money?
Now you're talking. They make financial planning simple and easy to understand, even for a couple of slappies like us.
Those guys have been serving Hickets for 3 generations. Junie bugged me. I even got my son Juju being smart with his money in his 20s.
It's never too early to talk with Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Brian Wright, Reagan Wright, Jeff Hartman, and Craig Ross.
Financial questions, ideas, or thoughts? Email chris@itbpartners.com.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
A lot of companies will tell you they're the best. At Custom Tree Surgeons, they show you every time. Custom Tree Surgeons has built an all-pro team. Every tree service professional has years of experience, continually trained and certified. They know what, when, and how to handle any job. It gets done efficiently and quickly by a team of experts. So for tree trimming, removal, stump grinding, and emergency services, forget any name other than Custom Tree Surgeons. There is no job they can't do better. Go to website CustomTreeSurgeons.com. That's CustomTreeSurgeons.com, and let them show you how the job is supposed to get done.
Hello, this is Father Nicholas Lowe, and I want to talk to you about not being afraid of the crosses of life. Life can be difficult. Maybe today you're carrying a cross of worry or stress. Let me encourage you to remember that when Christ got on the big cross at Golgotha, he destroyed all the little crosses that we face in our life. He set us free from fear, worry, and anxiety. Our job is not to be carried by the cross, but to be carried by our faith.
For more inspiration, log on to stjohnthedivine.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's go into the night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, get ready for Hacker Nation coming up in less than 1 hour. The return of Into the Night, Monday at 6. And we're going to be busy on Monday because it's really a spectacular day, a star-studded day. The Jaguars are walking out Doug Peterson. The Jaguars are walking out Mike Caldwell. And the Jaguars are walking out Trevor Lawrence. That'll be the 3 who meet the media at the podium. And then you will have a Jaguars practice, and then after, an opportunity to talk with individual players. So
yeah, I'm pumped.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I am. I mean, that whole culture where it feels like in politics, whenever you bring in the newest man, you bring in the newest woman or lady, okay? One of the guarantees you're going to get is we got to work harder. It's going to take a lot of hard work. That's always what you get politically speaking. When you change at the top as a coach, I mean, again, look at this state from the Canes. Hell, Canes, Dolphins, Bucks, Gators, Seminoles, Jaguars. Again, it feels like every other year, one of those. I mean, when's the last time there hasn't been a coaching change at any one of those schools? Has it been this past year? This year, I think. It would take some research, but
no NFL teams in the state either.
Right. I bet if we went back over the last 10 or so years, almost every year, you would have a change, or if not, certainly every other year. So, I was talking about the top, and I'm going to get to that a little bit this hour, have some fun with some Jag fans here. Actually, some positive things on a Friday. But, just one of, I don't remember where I read it, the top 100, I think it was Sports Illustrated, top 100, or just, it was written earlier in the week. I think it was 100 days out until the first game. I think we're at like 97 days out now until the first game. And so they came forward with 100 predictions. And one of them was at the end of the year, there's going to be 9 more vacancies in the NFL. I mean, out of 32 head coaches, 9 are going to get fired. And that's not too far away from the average, which has typically been around 7 as of late. So anyway, coaches, the word they're going to use is culture. And what Doug Peterson has done here is. But here's where I'm lost. Maybe, JJ, you have an answer for me. If not, or as well, I'll ask the listeners 641-1010 on the text line brought to you by Lifetime Enclosures. I don't always agree with you, the listener. I don't always agree with JJ, okay? But what I do is I listen, okay? I listen. I listen to what you say. Last year at this time was panic. Trevor was missing. You had a first-time offensive coordinator who still doesn't call plays. You heard what Dave Campbell had to say about Press Taylor. I agree with him. I think he's going to be a head coach someday. His brother's a head coach, obviously, in Cincinnati. And there's one organization that deserves a little bit of credit. They stayed with him after an awful year. They could have gone in a different direction. They saw something in Zach Taylor. You were rebuilding after the urban mess. Even in training camp, coming in here talking about some Trevor picks. You know, Trevor today went 16 of 28, and and we're like grading every throw. That's gone. But what happened? How did this change? Jacksonville began the year 3-7. And again, I remember the Trevor is a bust comment. I remember Mike Caldwell should not be the defensive coordinator. This team has to go to a 4-3. Trent Baalke should be fired. I remember it all. Where did it change? Where did they flip this switch where they went from 3-7 to all of a sudden 6-1? And just amazing. Almost unbelievable. Come from behind victories. And I'm not even talking about the 27-0 come from behind victory here against Los Angeles in the playoffs. But is there anything stick out for you? I mean, how did this thing went 180 in week 11?
I just Peterson, obviously, before, the season even started last year, people were just saying, well, it just feels normal, or whatever word they wanted to use about how it felt different around here. But then Trevor changed midway through the season, and that's what happened. It's as simple as that in the NFL. When your quarterback stops turning the ball over, you guys win games. It's a lot easier for the defense to play when the offense isn't, giving up the ball in the red zone or on the 50 or somewhere like that. And the whole team just plays better, and you start winning games and things. And the Titans went on a terrible run. That timed up perfectly with the Jags run, and it timed out. They won the division. Things are completely different now.
I question James Robinson. Why aren't they playing him? Why did they trade him? I mean, there's a lot, and that's my job to question. But, I mean, this thing again, it looked, I don't want to say broken, because the Baalke thing, very outspoken. Mike Caldwell, I certainly had some reservations. I never subscribed to the Trevor is a bust. Okay? And oh, by the way, 100% of you out there listening, you'll never admit that either. And that's good. That's fine. That's a fair. You know what I actually watched the other day? Have you seen Air yet?
No, I have not.
My girlfriend's like, let's watch Air. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a multitask movie.
I heard it was kind of a bore.
I'm going to be on my phone during a lot of this, and I'll catch about 30 or 40%. I actually really liked it because I didn't know it was about Sonny Vaccaro. First off, I'm not going to give you I'm not going to give you, what do they call it, a movie spoil, or I'm not going to spoil the movie because it's only been out, a month or so. They really miss with Matt Damon being cast as Sonny Vaccaro. I mean, that was a miss, and they tried to make Damon, a little bit more lumpy, if you will.
Did they put him in a fat suit?
They did something. He had a stomach. Even the Boston kids. Affleck as Phil Knight, I thought was a reach. So we're watching, and a big star here is David Falk, and
they did have him in a fat suit.
Yeah, I'm the whole David Falk thing. I think I've told you before that one night when I was in Chicago and I was out there for a USC-UCLA game in Los Angeles at Keyshawn Johnson's restaurant, David Falk is having dinner with Elton Brand. and I was able to get both on. I had no idea there was that much angst and hatred for David Falk, Michael Jordan's agent. This guy's going to die alone. He sold his company, made $100 million, and he dines alone, didn't have any friends. I was pleasantly surprised. It was a much better film than I thought it would. Who's the lady? Viola Davis? Now,
plays his mom.
She drives me crazy because all she does is scream in every movie. She's always pissed off. She's like, if they didn't find her, it might have been the acting debut of Nancy Grace, right? That's Viola Davis. She's just always pissed in every role, and she's always screaming. Not in this movie. She was the leader of the family, but she was mellow, but she was to the point. She was really, really, really good. So it's weird because they never show Jordan. They never show the character. They never show his face. It's all about Nike. It's all about the pursuit of Michael Jordan. But anyway, I don't know how I got off on that.
Spoiler alert, he signs with Nike. He makes lots of money after that.
You know what the offer was for Michael Jordan back in 1980, was it 84 when he came on?
Was it for like one season or multiple seasons?
No, it was a 5-year contract. Do you know what
I'm going to guess it was $50,000 a year.
$250.
Oh, okay. More than I thought.
And he was going to go Adidas. There was a tiny chance he was going to go Converse. But Converse had the best 3 players in the NBA. They had Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, and Julius Erving. And, the Jason Bateman, who's such a good actor, we just saw him in Ozarks and what have you. They're on the whiteboard, and they're like, one guy's like, he's in there, he's like, I think we really need to pursue Mel Turpin. And, you look back and you see the misses, like Barkley comes up, and they're like, no, he's a bad locker room guy. There's no way. He trash talks. He's got a filthy mouth. There's no way that Nike can afford to make the mistake of going after Charles Barkley.
Poor Mel Turpin was at home watching this movie and was just like, dang.
So Sonny, yeah.
Took a shot at me.
So Sonny,
he's dead, actually.
And he ended up going with, I think he ended up going with Adidas. But the whole Sonny Vaccaro, and Sonny Vaccaro was, he was like the first guy to put together high school all-star camps. And, he was a little bit of or not a little bit of, he was a major bird dog, right? That was a liaison from high school players to coaches and to universities and, recommending scholarships also.
Basketball's weird with
that. That whole summer league stuff and shoe contracts that came out of it. And obviously there was a lot of under-the-table stuff that happened. George Raveling had a big part with Michael Jordan going to Nike as well. It really took me to places that I didn't expect. So I went in expecting it to be like a 2 out of 10, where, again, I was going to be following box scores on my phone and whatever else, where I was completely amazed about how good the movie really was.
I got to check it out. My brother said it kind of sucked. He said the writing was like so goofy and just plain. And I usually am not a massive fan of Ben Affleck in all his movies, but he did direct Fargo, which I thought was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
His Batman was pretty good.
I never saw his Batman.
I'm trying to think. He did another one recently that I liked. But the Frangie Show loved Air.
The Gone Girl was good.
That's what it was.
The Gone Girl was good. Yeah.
That movie scared the hell out of me.
Yeah, that was a little eerie. And then he was also in that other movie where he had the psycho
the girl
young
with
lady.
The dragon tattoo? He's not in that, is he?
What's her name? She's the one. If we were on satellite radio right now, I'd use a word to describe her. But she's one of the hot actresses going on right now. Who, when you look at her, it's 100% sex. There's no other way to describe. That's the only way you can describe this lady.
I must find this film.
Okay. She's out with.
It's not called Deep Water.
Yes, it might be. Give me the star, the female star of that particular.
Ana de Armas.
There you go. Out of all the actresses,
Cuban.
I don't think I can say actresses anymore. I think I'll get canceled for saying that. I think I have to say actor. Okay.
Thespian.
Out of every female right now, a female actor, you just look at her and that's like the lady that, let's say, I remember dating a girl like this at Florida State when it didn't last long, obviously, but you break the seal and after every beer you go to the lavatory, and I would leave, I would come back, and I'd hear that, she had given her number to like 3 guys. I'd been in the bathroom for 3 minutes, not even 3. That's this lady. And she's in that movie with Ben Affleck. And here's a big surprise. She cheats on Ben Affleck in the movie. But, yeah, he was in that one. What was the name of it? Dark Water or
Deep Water.
Yes, very good. I recommend that one as well.
A well-to-do husband who allows his wife to have affairs in order to avoid a divorce becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers. Ooh.
Take that down, folks. Let me tell you, as a divorced man in the state of Florida.
This one spoke to you.
Oh, it sucks. It's awful. Yeah, recommend that with your wife. If you're not getting along well, just recommend.
You guys watch it together?
It's a lot cheaper to have an affair than it is to pay her out. So, watch it as far as that.
Is it even an affair if you're both
concerned?
Fine with it?
I don't know. I've never had one. I never would have one. Why would you ask me that question? Why are you looking at me like that?
Really asking the listeners, of course.
Huh? All right, listeners, let us know. 641-1010. And let us know as well. Is that perhaps something that you are a part of? Or maybe it's
open relationship.
A good friend of yours is a part of that. It's just not there anymore. But it makes more sense to do it that way as opposed to actually getting a divorce. Somewhere, someone is saying, hey, man, it's all about the kids.
Wherever you go, there we are.
I know. I checked online.
1010XL is on your smartphone and tablet. Download our free app for all devices and take us with you around Duval and around the world.
Ballou here for Smunez Vision. Why Smunez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smunez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smunez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smunez is fellowship trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmunezVision.com today. Care you can see.
This is David Garrard, and after the doctors fixed my knees, I followed their recovery plan, and I'm as mobile as I was when I played in the NFL.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Are you an electrician looking for better pay and benefits? Miller Electric Company has the industry-leading compensation package. Electricians are eligible for a signing bonus up to $1,000. Now, they're partnering with the Jaguars in their new performance facility, the Miller Electric Center. Miller Electric has opportunities for you to work on some of the most exciting projects right here in Jacksonville. Whether you're experienced or not, visit MillerCareers.com, an equal opportunity employer. That's MillerCareers.com.
Here's your 1010XL First Coast Community Calendar.
The Tom Coughlin J Fund helps families battling childhood cancer, and there are ways you can help. Go to tcjfund.org.
City Rescue Mission provides life-changing support for the homeless. Find ways to get involved at crmjax.org.
The 5-Star Veterans Center of Jacksonville is the place homeless veterans can go to recover, recharge, retrain, and reconnect. Learn more at 5starveteranscenter.org.
Her Song is a nonprofit organization that breaks the cycle of human trafficking through survivor care, victim outreach, and education. Find out how you can help at hersong.org.
The Hometown for Heroes Home Buyers Program helps you get your down payment and closing costs paid. Call to learn more. 574-7180.
If you're involved in a community event and you'd like us to help spread the word, find out how at 1010XL.com.
Chad and Sandy Newman have a promise for you at chadandsandy.com. Your home is going to be sold guaranteed, or guess what, gang? They will buy it. Right now, it is prime home selling season. Home buyers are actively looking. Mortgage rates are stabilizing. It's the ideal time to get your home sold for maximum dollar. So any problems you think you may have, whether you want maximum equity for your home but not sure how, or maybe you're worried about costly repairs or upgrades, don't worry about all those, because chadandsandy.com have a promise for you. They guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. Denny and Patty in Waterfront Manor said another agent failed to sell our luxury waterfront home. We were tired of waiting, so we had moved out. It was costing us a fortune. We decided to put Chad and Sandy's guarantee to the test, and they did it. Our home sold in 12 days for $56,000 higher than the previous agents even suggested. Call Chad and Sandy, or better yet, go to chadandsandy.com. That's chadandsandy.com.
The off-season continues to build, driven by Tire Outlet. Listen for 1010XL's coverage of organized team activities and minicamp. Brought to you by Safe Harbor Seafood Restaurant and Market and Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing and Septic Services on 1010XL.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford.
Well, Jacksonville, as we turn the TV on in hopes of hearing something positive, we're hit with another mass shooting, or murder on the local level. It seems to never end. We pray, we fast, and any number of other things. We do have to understand, as James said in the Bible, paraphrasing, prayer without works is dead. We as a community have got to get active to remove these individuals from our streets. How do we do that? Glad you asked. You can become a member of Mad Dash by calling 904-718-1649. We will train you on how to go to the streets to remove the individuals responsible for the crime from the community. We've got to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think.
For information about Mad Dad, go to Mad Dad's Jacksonville Chapter Facebook or maddadjacksonville.com.
What if you could be credit card debt-free in 10 days and save as much as $1,000 a month? Loan Pronto's all-new Express Equity line of credit program is just what you need. Hey, it's Prosser here. You don't have to do a full home refi. You can tap a small portion of the equity you have and enjoy a super low monthly payment. With Loan Pronto's Express Equity credit line, you can close in 7 to 10 days, and a $50,000 loan will only cost you around $400 a month. Use that money and pay off high-interest credit cards or do a home improvement project. You can access up to 90% of your home's equity, and 9 out of 10 homeowners won't even need an appraisal. So even if you did a total refi recently or just bought your home, you can tap the equity with this fast, easy program. Stop the madness. Say no to 24% interest fees. Call Loan Pronto today. 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Or as always, you can visit loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, getting a lot of stuff on Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, not necessarily about the movie Air, but other things. Told it's Argo, not Fargo.
Oh, yeah. Fargo is the
Minneapolis.
Some other movie.
That was a plane that went down, right? Running some drugs, running some money.
No. Fargo was
what's that from?
Like a comedy movie, dark comedy show. They made It was a movie. They made a show about it.
All right, what's the one where the plane goes down in Minneapolis, or actually in the suburbs of Minnesota, or maybe North Dakota? I thought it was Minneapolis, though. Pretty good show. They tell us, or movie, tell us about obviously Good Will Hunting. Yeah, we're aware of that. Robin Williams is the best in that. I don't think there's any doubt. We got a guy here who listened to you. Whenever you listen to JJ, you know that that that's a good thing. I won't give out his digits out of respect, but he said, my wife and I would try an open relationship. She ended up moving on to the new guy in their home, made the husband sleep in a different room.
They ended up getting a divorce. Not even 6 months later. I'm shocked by that.
Well, over the years, as a former bartender, and I did have a side gig where I was a relationship advisor. I was paid very handsomely for it. Here's the only way that I would describe any of that if you're looking for the ultimate lady. And for you ladies, if you're looking for the ultimate man. If you and her cheat on your current husband and wife to be with one another, how are you really going to trust that person down the road? You understand what I'm talking about?
Sage advice, man. People have been saying that for decades, and I couldn't agree more.
It used to be, the old adage used to be, if you completed everything in one night, the first night, how could you ever marry a girl you hooked up with like that the first night? Well, I don't know. Maybe it was love at first glance. I'm sure there have been many, 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 many examples where that has happened. They've gone on to have a long-lasting, loving relationship. But that was always sort of. This has got to be the new that. At least that would be.
And how do you, let's say it does work out. Do you have to make up a story to everybody about how you met? Like, oh, yeah, I was dating Shirley, and I was cheating on her with Sally, and one thing led to another. Me and Sally are married now.
See, I don't.
You have to be like, oh, we were at a bar, and
I don't know how to answer that question. I
Publix,
don't know.
We ran into each other. I dropped some soup. She helped me.
We're getting all these stories now about open marriages, and I hope Hacker doesn't. I got to find out a way to get the text on my phone and take it with me. If not, I hope Hacker doesn't mind, but I'm going to stay here till around 10 o'clock tonight reading all of these. It's the most entertained. This is absolutely the most entertained I've ever been by our listening audience, hearing about your personal lives. And again, I'll let you know, all we have here is your phone number. We don't have your name. I'm not going to read your phone number over the air.
Yeah, this guy's giving us play-by-play of his escapades in the 80s with a married woman.
Ballou, you had Dave Campbell on earlier. You asked him about rookies so far. Which rookie has stood out for you? It's a really good question. And Dave said it, and I am always going to give you the obligatory, whoa. Okay, we haven't seen him hit. We haven't seen him in pads. But I'm going to go with Tank. I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby. The lower body is bigger than I envisioned. The hands are better than all the scouting reports that I read. And listen, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't read all these scouting reports pre-draft. I read some. Certainly read the one on Anton Harrison pre-draft, and we talked about that ad nauseum as far as his nasty, does he have it, does he not have it? But once they draft players, obviously I'm going to go back and look at it and see what they like, see what they don't like. I have a regular golfing buddy of mine who's an Auburn grad, and I've talked to him about it. But there was really this either misconception or wrong analysis that's out there that he struggles to catch the football. I have seen anything. I haven't seen him drop one yet, and I've seen him make some nice grabs. Obviously, he looks like he is going to be a guy that is going to make the first tackler not necessarily miss, but he's going to drag that tackler with him. It's going to take at least a second and or third player to bring him down. So that would be the one that would come to mind for me, Tank Bigsby, so far. And again, we'll get that opportunity to get out there on Monday and see them once again. It'll be very busy on Monday. Again, Doug Peterson, Mike Caldwell, Trevor Lawrence, plus I'll sit down with someone after practice. So I'm not going to tell you I can't wait. I can wait because I'm excited about tonight.
Caldwell's not too wordy.
Saturday and Sunday. A wordy Mike Caldwell?
Yeah. Got to tell that guy to be quiet sometimes.
All right. I think the show that we do, and even before you were a part of this show, there are times I like to have fun and embellish, okay? But when it's a serious thing, I tell the truth. I'm going to raise my hand right now. I have not bet in 10 years. And I have no itch to bet. I am, on the flip side now, a huge fan of gaming. I just, for one reason or another, I don't want to do it right now. And I'll tell you why I don't want to do it right now, because it aggravates me. You can't control it, but I'd rather just enjoy myself. It's not worth it whether I put $50 on it or, $500 on it. Gambling affects the way that I am. All right. And you ask anyone, the baddest of moods I get in is when teams lose that I love. That's basically it. I saw the Jaguars minus 160 to win the AFC South. Now, for the second night in a row, I'm contradicting myself. I'm a big, big proponent of telling you, do not stress on very little reward coming on your risk. In this case, 160, you got to lay down $160 to win back 100. It's not really worth stressing over, in my particular opinion. But this is different. This is a season-long wager. It's not one and done. And to me, this is like stealing. I mean, this is flat out theft, okay? 160 for the Jaguars? This looks like one of the easiest, to me, preseason wagers that I have seen in a very, very long time. Again, it's not going to generate a ton of money for you. But how can you lose here at minus 160 when you look at the other three teams? Now, you were just telling me about Anthony Richardson. You laying 160 to win 100? Leaving it alone?
I would leave it. I would leave it alone just because it's so early, and injuries could happen. Anything, if something happens to Trevor before the season, whatever it is, that line could move depending on if people fall in love with Anthony Richardson. The Titans are still out there. I know that last year they ended the season really terribly, but they did have a lead in the division until Tannehill got hurt. So for the odds to be that heavy on one team when the team that won last year won it by one game, I would hold off. But, if you're confident that there's no way they can lose the division, minus 160 is not that bad.
You nailed it. That's the only way they don't win it, if he goes down. Now, the other side of it is it's June 2nd, okay? He gets through minicamp, we get into training camp, and things are on the up and up, and all of a sudden you start to get all, members of the national media visiting and saying, this is going to go up. This is going to go up significantly. Let's keep an eye on, and I've even seen it at minus 150 at a couple of places. Let's keep an eye on this when JJ and I, again, will go through our picks the Friday before the start of the regular season. I want to say that's like a September 8th. And we'll just quickly go through the 17 games and see where we are. I want to check the Jaguars to win the AFC South then. I'm going to make a prediction that if he does stay healthy, that's minus 220, 230. My nuts here?
I don't think it'll jump that much before the season. No. That's a lot. I honestly think it could move the other way. Just because I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing these ridiculous statements from everybody about Anthony Richardson after a couple throws at practice. Like, wait it out. People might fall in love with this guy. People might fall in love with betting him to win the division. And when, people bet the other teams, your odds get better for your team.
Has there ever been a guy who's come out of your school that you were so, for one reason or another,
Down on?
that you didn't root for him?
No.
Well, I will say the same thing. Now, there was that group, the Taggart group, the guys like Marvin Wilson and some of these other guys that and I know I upset some people. I didn't want to see him get drafted. I didn't want to see him make the league.
I never cheered against a guy from Miami, but here's an example. Probably the best one I can think of is when Brad Kaya left early. I was like, why the hell are you leaving early, dude? Like, you got so much work to do left here. And so when he left early, I was like, I didn't exactly cry when he went undrafted. I had a chuckle to myself.
Yeah, very, very, very spirited conversation last night on coaching, which included Billy Napier. Why am I a believer that Anthony Richardson? Now, some of it will have to do with Jacksonville, which I understand and I respect. I mean, I'm trying to if Jameis Winston was a starting quarterback, or when E.J. Manuel was coming in here with Buffalo or Christian Ponder, or whoever it was, just because they went to Florida State and they were playing Jackson, okay, I drew the line. I'm glad what you did for my alma mater on Saturday, but I'm rooting for the home team here. It's a little bit different. We're talking about, even though E.J. was a first-round pick and Ponder, I want to say, was a first-round pick as well. Yeah,
absolutely.
It's different here with Anthony Richardson. It feels different to me. I believe that there are Gator fans out there that want to see this guy fail. And that's very unusual for me. I gave you my opinion on some Florida State guys. Now, these Florida State guys were turds, okay? Marvin Wilson was a turd. What he did, okay, Norvell lied, and I crushed Norvell for that lie. I destroyed, but he owned it. He didn't walk away from it. And then Wilson doubled down and did all, and he ended up not getting drafted. So obviously the word got around the league that he was a turd, and he's been on some practice squads and who knows. So yeah, guys like that who basically are irrelevant. I didn't want to see him get in the NFL. I'm not talking about a top 5 pick here or a first-round pick like Anthony Richardson. Why do I believe that there are Gator fans out there that were so upset with his performance last year that they don't want to see him do well?
If that is true, like you said, it's because they didn't accomplish anything when he was there. They had a bad, terrible season. They lost to Vandy. They lost to Kentucky again. They didn't get killed by Florida State. They lost to Florida State. Like, they lost to Tennessee, something that never happened. So, yeah, I understand why you're not like all rah-rah about this guy just because he put on the Gator colors. It's like, we had a terrible season. You left. I don't know if they're cheering against him, but I know that they're not going out and rushing to buy his jersey.
Florida State fans felt that way towards Chris Ricks, who obviously never made it.
Only player in college football history to lose to a team 5 times. One of my favorite stats.
Oh, you know what? And they threw him in way too quick. And that kid had some talent.
Oh yeah, he was fun.
He had a 10-cent head. I tell you, the problem with Chris Ricks is when they dumbed him down. Chris Ricks was at his best when he was running around with his head cut off.
Yep.
When they said no, you can't tuck and carry, and when they tried to overcoach him. And I know it's hard for me to say those words, overcoach, during the Jeff Bowden era. But that's exactly what happened. Anyway, let me know what you think about that. 641-1010. I kind of want to see this Richardson guy make it. Now listen, I don't want him to be a beast. I don't want Indianapolis to be a beast here in the AFC South. You and I both like Denny an awful lot.
Denny.
Our folks, Denny Thompson, one of the really good guys who's ever rolled through here. But it just felt weird. And my whole opinion on this is that Gator fans are like, go. We don't want you here. And I understand the frustration. I mean, I remember that comeback against Tennessee when he sailed it into the 3rd or 4th row. I mean, it's things like that where you're kind of like, did we just did we just witness that? But this guy scared. I mean, Florida State was a much better team. He scared the living snot out of me this year in that game. So anyway, it's not too often. You typically stick with your school, thick or thin, but I'm kind of getting that vibe right now.
You know, I think the more time goes by and the longer he's in the league, the more Gator fans will like him and accept him and be like, yeah, he was one of us.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if he's successful. You better believe it.
All right, so JJ and I here looking at this differently. I think this is automatic. Go ahead and cash the check right now. Jacksonville minus 160 to win the AFC South. Again, we'll check that number right before the start of the regular season. I think it's going to move up. I think it's going to go in the 200s, maybe 220. JJ saying not so fast. I am checking the text line here and also my Twitter, and they're saying the same thing. Here's one right here. You can't count against Tennessee because the kid from Yulee. Well, man, how many more? I mean, he is bionic. Okay, outside the one injury, but how many more years can he take that? And again, look at the respect for running backs. Minnesota's trying to do whatever they can right now to trade Dalvin Cook. It's a weird position. But anyway, we shall see. All right, final thoughts coming up right after this. Hacker Nation as well. He begins at 8.
Jaguars beat reporter Hayes Carline.
Yeah, I do competitive ice dancing.
What they use on the space shuttle to prevent it from burning up on re-entry.
I do very competitive ice dancing.
On the Frangie Show. Weekday afternoons on 1010XL.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. We're your local family jeweler for 46 years in Jacksonville with a huge selection of diamonds, gemstones, and pre-owned Rolex watches. And Monahan Jewelers is your store for expert jewelry repair turned around in 1 or 2 days. Most jewelry stores take 2 weeks or more, and many stores send your jewelry somewhere else for repair. At Monahan Jewelers, our jewelry repair is done in-house by expert craftsmen, and Monahans can turn around most repairs in a day or two. So bring your jewelry repair to Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Come for the fishing, stay for the fun. I'll see you at the captain's meeting for the old school Kingfish Shootout presented by Dailies and Yellowfin. It's coming up Friday at the St. Augustine Fish House, and then the tournament gets underway on Saturday. Old school indeed, with limited boundaries. You got to catch your own live bait. It's taking a Kingfish tournament back to the old school days. You can be a part of it. Not too late to enter. Make sure you get that entry in this week. Just go to oldschoolkingfish.com. And meanwhile, I'll see you for happy hour at the St. Augustine Fish House coming up on Friday.
Children under 5 die from drowning in Florida more than any other state. Together, we can reduce the risk of drowning. The YMCA has programs accessible to families that teach essential water safety skills. Face the water with confidence. Learn more at watersafetyflorida.org.
Duck Duck Air Conditioning, a division of Duck Duck Rooter, is looking for experienced and dependable HVAC services technicians to join our growing team. Duck Duck Air Conditioning is committed to delivering the highest level of service to our customers. Successful candidates will be hardworking, dependable, possess strong problem-solving skills with at least 2 years of HVAC experience. Ready to get to work? Please visit our website at duckduckac.com and click on the careers page. We look forward to hearing from you. That's duckduckac.com.
Duck Duck AC is an equal opportunity employer.
If you're at the point where you think you have to live with pain indefinitely, I want to help you get rid of that fear and anxiety. I'm Matt Hayes. Listen to Pain-Free Living with Dr. Mithuyas and me. Sunday mornings at 10 on 1010XL.
Superior Fence and Rail knows about exceptional customer service. From the first call to the final inspection, Superior's team provides first-class care with great communication, friendly installers, and quality fence products. There's a reason why Superior is the top-rated fence company in Jacksonville. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail for your new fence today.
When you're on the fence, about a fence, SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Listen, joint pain is a thief. No two ways about it.
That's football legend Emmitt Smith, who knows a thing or two about pain.
It steals your joy, your time with family, or doing things you love. It can even steal your livelihood. But QC Kinetics can help put a stop to that.
Don't hand everything over to pain. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, a cutting-edge technology that helps relieve pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, and back using healing properties directly from your own body.
It's easy. Get treated in the office and walk right out afterward.
Simple, right? And QC Kinetics' remarkable all-natural treatments deliver long-lasting relief without surgery or long recovery times.
Don't let soreness or achiness rob you of doing the things you love. Tell that pain, not today, not ever. You've got QC Kinetics on your side.
Call QC Kinetics, 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522. 904-274-5522.
Denny Thompson here. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring salespeople right now. If you want to sell new tech security cameras or home automation, Tyson Sound and Security is looking for you. Tyson Sound and Security is hiring for sales positions, and they will train you to be successful. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. That's 762-1000. Hiring for sales positions right now. Apply online at TysonSoundandSecurity.com or call 762-1000. Equal opportunity employer.
Yo, yo, yo! Are you looking for the lowest price on car insurance? ET here for Australia Car Insurance. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANCE today. Australia is your quick and easy alternative to pay less for car insurance. Switch and save money. Call 1-800-CAR-INSURANce today.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars, protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Into the Night with Rick Ballou on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Totally forgot to mention walkoffcharities.com. What a failure I am. You can still bid. You have 2 days remaining. Walkoffcharities.com. Right now I'm getting beat by all them Gators. So charities.com. Walkoffcharities.com. It's really not too far off. And it has been upped. I appreciate it. Last week I think it was $700. You know, my weekend golfing is suspect because of what's going on with my back, and I've been going back and forth with Derek Trucks, who someone yesterday said, "Hey, Ballou, you're fans of Derek Trucks. Why don't you ask him to donate $25,000?" I'm like, I love when people think that or know that someone else got money that. They could speak for someone.
Hey, Rick, why don't you end your friendship with Derek immediately?
Yeah. Hey, Derek, but anyway, he sent me this text, and he said, "Hey, man, I'm in Indianola, Mississippi, playing the reopening of Club Ebony, and I'm telling you, pull up Club Ebony. All right. The description I would give you is remember from The Wire." In Baltimore, the fried chicken. When I looked at it, this is what immediately came to mind. I'm guessing this place is only going to hold a couple of hundred people, and Tedeschi Trucks are playing there tonight. He said, should be wild. It's an old juke joint that Ray Charles, B.B. King, and all the fellas used to play. B.B. bought it to preserve it, and they finally are having a reopening after a bunch of changes that they have made.
Looks like a gas station.
I love old stuff like this. I really do. That's what's great about some of these older towns. And, I mean, the old Coca-Cola sign and there's a beer sign here that I think I know what it is, but I can't recognize it. They don't spend money with me, so I'm not going to. It's not Miller Lite. But Club Ebony, this is just awesome. So check that out. That is where Jacksonville's Derek Trucks will be playing tonight, along with his wife, Susan Tedeschi.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Tire Outlet is now hiring. Visit TireOutlet.com/careers. Equal opportunity employer.
All right, JJ and I were just talking about him with Brad Kaya. I went with kind of Marvin Wilson and some turds that have done nothing and will never do anything in the NFL, just the whole debacle that went on a few years ago at Florida State. Has there been a player out of Florida that you didn't root against or just did not want to see him do well?
Wow, that's an interesting question. Nothing jumps to mind. Well, you know what? I'll give you one. I was sitting in the south end zone. It was in 1999, Florida, Alabama, and Darrell Jackson fumbled a punt.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, that allowed Alabama to score the game-tying touchdown And that was the game where Florida missed an extra point in overtime and Alabama made an extra point in overtime to win. But it never would have gotten to that point had Darrell Jackson not fumbled that punt.
Yeah.
So that has left a lasting image on me, Rick, some 23 years later.
See, in pro sports, and again, where I come from, Bill Buckner, the whole way down, that's so relevant.
Yeah.
In college, there's a little bit more forgiveness, I think, overall.
Oh, agreed. I mean, we talk about the Jaguars. I mean, as great of things as Reggie Barlow did here, he dropped the ball in the AFC Championship game. Or he fumbled, and Alvis Whitted had a key drop in that game. And it's unfortunate that, those guys do so many things, but I think if you ask any Jaguar fan, like Dennis Northcutt, right? He dropped the ball in New England. That would have put Jacksonville on the board early, and who knows how that game would have gone. So maybe you and I are wired differently. It's kind of what we do, but I think a lot of people remember more the negative than the positive.
What's coming up?
Yeah, it's interesting. My wife and son are up in Boston, your neck of the woods, where apparently it's not raining where they are, but it's pouring at Fenway. So I didn't realize Boston was a vast metropolis area-wise, but hopefully we'll get some baseball in tonight. So we'll talk a little Major League Baseball. Stephen Nesbitt of The Athletic is going to join us as most teams are about 60 games in. We'll also wrap up our NFC East preview going to Philadelphia to talk about Athens North, right? I mean, Jalen Carter, Nakobe Dean, Nolan Smith, Keely Ringo, Jordan Davis. Crazy how many Georgia Bulldogs are on the Eagles' defense. We'll certainly talk about that, the Jalen Hurts extension, and more with our man Bo Wolf of The Athletic up in Philadelphia.
I think when Peterson won in Philly, he had either 3 or 4 Knowles on his defense.
Yeah. Well, and when
For the life of me, I can't remember any of them right now.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Now that you say that, but it's like you look, Devontae Smith and Jalen Hurts, a couple Alabama guys. They got 5 Georgia guys on defense. As you know, Rick, it just means more. And Philadelphia has figured that out.
All right, man. Hackers coming up right now. A couple people are asking me where Tedeschi trucks are playing. Do they want to check it out? Yeah, just Google Club Ebony in Mississippi. JJ, let's end with this. This is from the 1206. Rick, last year when you were doing your picks and then betting on the opposite of your picks, should Jag fans play the opposite of minus 160 to win the AFC South?
Well, that means you have to bet on 3 other teams.
All right, that's it. We're out of here. Have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. Remember, Monday, open media accessibility. We're going to hear from Trevor Lawrence, Doug Peterson, Mike Caldwell. I'm also going to sit down with a Jaguars player. Join us 6 to 8 on Monday, right here on Into the Night.
Making radio in Jacksonville more fun.
All of Jumanji, thanks.
Because you can use a little more fun in your day. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Hacker here for the Sausage Dude Sausage, the sausage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Sausage Dude Sausage is made from high-quality pork and carefully sourced